Hey Tammy, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Better than good.
Good, good. So I think today we're going to cover the premise of our show. And you did record a clip of me and my background a little bit. So I'd like to hear a little bit about your spiritual background. And also, you have your own YouTube channel called Effortless Being. And I'd like to know a little bit more about that as well.
Great. Well, my spiritual background, I grew up as a Christian. So I grew up in a Christian household, and there you were taught that you're a sinner and that you need Jesus in order to make yourself whole. So I'd be going to church every week, and I believed that I was broken and that I needed to be fixed. And so there was always growing up, that coming from that premise, throughout my life. So then there was guilt, there was shame in doing like ordinary things in life that maybe people that didn't have that premise wouldn't see it that way. So you have that guilt that you're dealing with, that shame with different things that you're doing growing up in a Christian household. And then so I've always questioned, like, I don't feel like it. There's like this inner knowing inside me saying that I know that this isn't right. Like I shouldn't feel, shame and guilt and all these things. I don't feel like I'm broken. I don't feel like that I need to be fixed or anything. There was always this quiet knowing of that. So when I
Mhm.
was told that, I didn't totally buy into it, but I did buy into it a little bit through the conditioning.
Yeah.
So yeah, so growing up, so then when I heard, so I started seeking. I was like, okay, well, this can't be right. Something's missing. Something's off here. I feel like an alien in this world. Like, because I really felt inside, I felt really good. And I feel like I was already whole and complete, and they're telling me that I'm not. So then when I heard, when I started doing some seeking, I got into manifesting. And Rhonda Byrne had come out with the book, The Secret. And that book was all about manifesting. You could
Mhm.
manifest your desires. Anything that you want, you could manifest. All you have to do is think about it, right? As long as you didn't have a contrary thought to it, it would manifest. So then I would do all these visualizations and, picturing, oh, driving the car I want, feeling what it's like to do it, having the parking spot up front. I did all that kind of stuff, because I felt like, because the reality I had was it didn't feel that way, struggling with money, looking around me at people that they just always like in their heads, it always looks like so sad and miserable. And I was like, this isn't the way the world's supposed to be. It's supposed to be fun. And,
Yeah.
so it was like this quiet knowing of that. But I did like about that book is I did feel empowered because previous to that, I felt like victim consciousness, like I was a victim in this world,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
everything's happening to me. Right. But there in that book, in The Secret, she was talking about, how you can feel empowered by your thoughts. So if I could just think positive, I could create the reality that I want. Then that became like striving and struggle because I'd always have to sit there thinking, oh, I got to think, positive all the time for it to happen. Then I get like all nervous, like, oh no, I had a negative thought. Now something negative is going to happen in my life experience.
Our strain
So
and struggle mentality, right?
I started freaking out over that. Like, so I was like paranoid
I
about
did
my
too. I did too.
freaking out. And then I would feel guilty and shame, just like I did with, being
Me
a
too.
Christian and all that. Oh no, I felt the guilt and shame every time if I would feel anger, if I would feel depression, if I would feel sadness, or if I'd have a naughty thought, I would feel all this. I had a lot of those naughty thoughts. Am I having naughty thoughts right now? No, that's hard on myself now. But back then it was real. It was real. So I can
Yeah,
relate to
yeah.
people. I get it. But yeah,
I
so
can
I was
relate.
yeah, you can relate to that too, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I didn't want to, so I was like putting like happy stickers over it, like because I
Me too.
pretending like even though I was feeling really pissed off about something, I'd be like, no, it's gonna be fine, everything's fine, I'm stressed out. Meanwhile, I'm inside,
Crazy
oh,
making. I
that's how I
did
felt
it too.
inside. But I was putting a happy sticker, oh, hi.
My
Yeah.
poor kids, my poor kids.
Well, the kids might like it, but daddy's happy, he's not gonna be angry. Yeah, daddy, we like the happy sticker. We like the happy sticker. This
Yeah,
kid's
but when you're
angry.
not authentic, it backfires.
Yeah, you got to be authentic. But I mean,
Yeah,
that's kind of like, but that's how it was with The Secret. So I was,
me
that's the way I
too.
was interpreting it. And maybe I was getting it all wrong. I don't know, but that's just like how it was for me.
I had the same experience.
You did, right?
Yes, I did.
Similar. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then of course, how Abraham always talks about like the gas tank being on E. You put
Yes,
a happy sticker over, you're still going to run out of gas, right? So you
that's
want to
right. So you
there's no
want to
sense in
know
putting a
where
happy
you
sticker
are.
over it. There's no sense. Might as well
Exactly.
be authentic and be real with how you feel.
Yeah.
Um, but I did like the part of feeling empowered, though. That was a nice feeling because previous to that, I thought everything was just happening to me and I had no control, and I just have to accept it and nothing I could do. I couldn't consciously create anything. I just had to accept what is, which
Exactly.
is
I was super excited too. And I was like gung ho thinking, oh
yeah,
my gosh. And then you get into it and you're like, wait a minute. I'm the creator of my own reality. That means I can create things I don't want to. And then
yeah,
reality sets in.
yeah, right. That's how you think, but like that's how it was
Uh-huh.
for me. So then Rhonda Byrne had come out with this other book called The
The greatest
Greatest
secret?
Secret, The Greatest Secret. And that one in there was all about discovering your true nature or realizing your true nature, what you truly are. And in that book, she was pointing about this part of us that's infinite, that's always here, that's whole, that's complete, this
Mhm.
beingness. And then when I got curious about this beingness, I'm like, well, what is this beingness? Does it have shame? Is it a sinner? I mean, was it born? Can it get sick? Does it have a problem? Is it worried about money? Is it worried about relationships? And when I looked at that, I'm like, no, it's impersonal being. It's already whole. It's complete. It's right here in the background. It's this spacious beingness. And that's what my true nature is. That's what I am. So then when I had discovered that, I was like in this world of, I was like, wow. Because all this time I was contracted and thought I was like this guy, Rob, that was broken and had all these problems. And just, I didn't know about, I was the expansive, infinite being. I didn't realize that. I just thought I was just contracted Rob, here that was
Did you go
broken.
through a phase where you're like, okay, I don't even know who I am, and I don't even, I went through a phase where it's like, I don't even know how to be now. It's
Yeah.
just, it just twitch your brain in a knot. I don't know if you went through that, but I did that for a while.
For me, it was like a case of mistaken identity, I would say, because I was
Mhm.
so identified with this character, Rob. Now, picture that your whole life, you're taught like your name is Rob, you're separate from everybody else. You grow up here, you like broccoli, you like steak, you hate carrots or whatever. I had all these preferences because I was interpreting the world. Like I was putting it all into categories. I like this, I don't like that. This is good, this is bad. If I do this and it like causes this, cause and effect, if I do this, this is
Mhm.
what happens. I was trained that way. And I thought I was really this separate person. Like I was here and everybody was out there. I really believed that.
Yeah, and
Um,
that's basically what we're taught. And if you don't question it, you won't discover it, right? And I
right.
remember watching that movie, The Beautiful Mind, and remember the man who had the mental illness and he saw the characters. I thought, oh my gosh, I'm like a character,
Yeah.
the person Tammy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was like, whoa. And it was such a relief though, because it was like, okay, and then after that, I had to discover how I was going to be understanding all these concepts. So that takes a minute too.
Yeah. I mean, because that's how I see it now is like, oh, there's the Rob character.
Hmm.
But that's when I realized I was the infinite being. So I was kind of like, once I first realized I was the infinite being, it was almost like I rested as the infinite being. So there'd be times like when I first realized this, I'd be sitting
Hmm.
out in the backyard, just blissed out or just enjoying nature. And I can remember my ex-wife saying to me, she goes, Rob, it's time to go to work.
You were like Eckhart Tolle on the park bench.
Yeah, exactly. I went through that phase. I went
I
through that
know, I
phase.
did too. And I was scared. I was like, am I going to be homeless?
Yeah, like and then the mind would come in. Well, you have to go to work. You have to
I
go to work.
know.
You're gonna lose your house. You're not gonna be able to pay your bills. And I was like,
I know. It's a ride. It's a
but look at the
ride.
trees. Look at the birds. They're singing. It's body. Look, it's so cool. And I'm talking like third person. Here's the body. There's the thoughts. Like, I'm just the awareness that sees it all.
I think
So
in
yeah,
the
maybe there
past,
was
people
that.
were
There's that.
locked away for that.
Yeah, I know. It's like, are we filming this?
I
Doc,
know.
I'm just kidding. I believe everything you say. I'm here. Don't lock me up. Don't put me away.
Thank God for modern times.
Yeah, I mean, even what you think about even like the Abraham stuff when you talk about channeling, when that first
Oh
came
my
out, that was
gosh.
you remember what
I
that was like?
I could not touch that book for 2 years because I thought,
Yeah,
oh my gosh. And then
or the
finally I said,
Seth, or
you know
the
what?
demons are going to possess you. Remember how it was? I'll never forget like Oprah when she first had Abraham on the show, or and they were saying, "Oh
Gary
my,"
and Esther.
Yeah, Jerry, yeah, when they had Esther on, and because she had a podcast, Oprah had a podcast where she was interviewing about spirituality, and she had come on there,
Ooh,
and they were talking about how when Rhonda Byrne had come on the ship and she was doing that documentary about The Secret and how
yeah,
she was first in there and that whole thing.
yeah.
But she was interviewing and she says, I wouldn't do this on my TV show, but I'll only do it on my radio show because I don't know if my TV audience can handle this. She goes,
It's the
probably
truth.
10 years from now, it won't be a big deal, but I can do it on the radio show. And then when she was doing it, she goes, this is so weird. I'm going to ask you to bring Abraham in. And then Esther would be like, okay, just and then Abraham would come through and the voice would change. He's like, this is so weird.
I know, and you think about how scary that is for a lot of people, especially because we've been so conditioned that things we
Yeah.
don't understand are evil, they possessed or whatever, So I get you, and that's
Yeah.
another reason why I was a little,
Yeah.
weary about going out there and being open about stuff. You got to get solid in it first to be able to feel comfortable with that.
Yeah. Because growing up in Christianity, you always taught about like
Exactly.
Satan, the demons are going to
Yes.
get you. You can't keep your mind open to them. Like you have to, there was all this stuff about it. So that kind of freaked me out because of the conditioning I was under.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you were like me when she said, okay, if I just feel good, how can I lose?
Yeah,
If
it does come
hey,
down to that because then you start
yeah,
questioning things. It's like, well, I feel miserable right now believing this stuff. So, but I
yeah.
feel really good, when I got a Jack Daniels in my hand.
And I love the fact that they said, hey, don't take our word for it. Try it out for yourself. You
Yeah,
don't
direct
need us.
experience.
That's when I was like, okay, I'm going to try this out. And since then, it's been so beneficial. Why would I ever let it go? I said, if an alien with two heads gives me information that I can use and apply, I'll use it,
That's great. But I know
Yeah.
what you meant about the identity. Like you almost feel like, you know, well, now I'm not this character. Like I know I'm not this character, Rob. But then I had the realization that, well, Rob, the character, is still living. He still has
Exactly.
relationships. He still
Like, why
goes,
are we here,
I still have
right?
a career. I'm still living. I'm still going on trips. Look, I'm drinking. I'm eating. Like I'm still here. But
Yeah.
the difference now, I would say, is prior to that, I just thought I was Rob, broken. Now I realize, oh, I'm the infinite being, I'm whole and complete. So now it's just taking that, like that knowingness, that
Hmm.
conviction of knowing what you are, and then putting that into the character Rob into the everyday life.
That's fun, isn't it?
That is when it becomes fun.
It is because you're not identified with the character and you can just have fun knowing who you really are and
Yeah.
just enjoy the journey and also have fun creating on purpose, intentionally
You can
from the
intentionally create
flow.
your reality and that from this
Yeah,
place
that
of,
is
of
super
feeling
fun.
whole. And that was the biggest thing with manifesting prior to self-realization of realizing I was the infinite being and then putting that in because I used to create from lack. I used to say
Me
that the
too.
happiness was outside me. Like if I have this perfect relationship, that's going to make me happy. If I get this amount of money, in the bank, that's going to make me happy. If I go on this trip, that's going to make me
It's
happy. If I can
funny.
have that house there, that will make me happy. But what I found, even when I attained those things, it was empty once I got there because it was just the mind relaxing to what's already here, this peaceful beingness that's already whole and complete. That's where the relief was. So I was
But
saying to myself, I don't have to go out there and get that stuff. I can feel good right now. Everything's perfect right here, right now. Everything I need. Like if I don't think about it and go to the mind or all the beliefs, if I just relax
but
as the
don't you
awareness,
find that when you relax and everything, it comes to you? So it's just icing on the cake,
yeah,
right?
because now it's just coming to you effortlessly.
Yeah,
That's,
because you're not
thus my
stressed.
channel, Effortless Being. I'm
Yeah.
pointing people to realize that what you truly are is already whole and complete. And it's effortless just to be. And what I mean by that is even in the human experience, just by being, those things are going to come to you effortlessly because it's more like you're allowing it, to happen. I know it's
So
hard for people in the West to understand, but from allowing, because we're so trained and we're so entrenched in our conditioning to believe we have to strive, we have to work hard in order to get money, in order to get what we want, in order to be happy. But the truth is, you're already whole and complete. This beingness that you are is already whole and complete. And those things will come to you effortlessly. It becomes this trust where you prove it to yourself what you truly are. And when you come from that knowing, that conviction of what you are, you'll see that synchronicities line up, opportunities line up, things fall into place with ease. It's not that you're not doing anything. It's just that when you're doing it, the difference now is it feels playful, it feels easy. You might look at me like before and after and be like, he's doing the same things. But the experience of it is two worlds apart. One is feeling effortless with ease, the other one's feeling like striving and having to prove yourself or working hard. And this is more playful. where I'm at
Well,
now.
you could do it all day long, but the effort part gets exhausting and you can't maintain it. So it's the only
Mhm.
way to live when you really think about it. But when you first start, it's hard to believe that you can just be and it'll come to you. So you have
Yeah.
to play with it a little bit. And that's why you have your channel, right? Just to
Mhm.
explain to people
Yeah.
how what this is all about. Because I know you don't meditate. You said that you just have this knowing and you have
Yes.
your own methods of remembering who you really are, whether it's just you're thinking it or you're taking a walk in the woods,
Yeah,
but
the
something
way I can tell now, it's like not see self-realization really isn't a practice or something you have to because it's already the case. That's what people understand. It's already here. The way that I stay in tune with it though is that what I and it goes back to I like what Abraham says too. It goes back to your emotional guidance system. Like if I'm feeling, like I'm feeling some of the lower energies like depressed or sad, that's just like I just get curious about it and question and be like, okay, what am I believing at this moment? Do I really believe that I'm this separate person, Rob, that's broken, or do I believe I'm the pristine infinite being that's whole and complete? And so when I question the thought, or I question the doer, or I question the identity of what's going on, or what is that? Who is it?
Mhm.
Who is it that's believing this right now? And oftentimes what I'll find is, oh, I'm believing in the character Rob that he's broken. I'm not viewing it from the beingness that's whole and complete. And so that's like kind of like my
And you can
meditation.
just laugh, right? And just
Yeah,
know,
then I'll just like I
well.
laugh a lot. So then my wife thinks, "What are you laughing at?" Nothing. But meanwhile, I'm thinking. Meanwhile, I'm thinking, no, is because I realize that I'm identified with the character.
Yeah, and I think that throughout life, because we are so involved in the physical and, it's mesmerizing that at times you're going to lose your way and then you can laugh and get back on track. When it feels, uncomfortable, you go, okay, what's going on when you're so
Yeah.
used to feeling good?
Then
For me,
I would question like, who is it that's off? That's not understanding it. Like I always like to go back to
yeah.
the character because that helps me identify. Like, am I looking as Rob and I'm believing that, or am I looking for my true nature? The
Yeah, yeah.
beingness. Yeah.
Now, when that doesn't work, you just go general in your thoughts of just everything is okay. I don't have to figure this out right now. And you take a
Yeah.
nap and you do
Yeah.
other things, right? And
Yes.
for me,
Yeah.
I meditate because that seems to work for me, but
Yeah.
it's not a requirement. You can make that into a homework assignment and
Yeah.
then, it's counterproductive. So everybody's got their own unique way of getting into alignment or remembering who they are, however you want to put it.
Yeah, there's only
I
one thing I would say about meditation, though, is what I encourage people with meditation is to meditate on the meditator. And what I mean by that is when you're in meditation and you're meditating, ask yourself, who is the one or what is it that's meditating? Who is the one meditating? And oftentimes when you do that, a space will open up and you'll see that meditator, and you look for it, there really isn't a person there meditating, like Rob or Tammy isn't there meditating. It's the beingness that's always here. And then when that relaxes, then you'll feel the peace come
It's who
over
you
you.
really are, the wholeness,
Yes.
the
The
supreme being,
beingness.
whatever you want to
Yes.
call
The
it, your
beingness. Yeah.
intelligence, your inner being, your
Yeah.
effortless being.
All those terms pointing to the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And the cool thing is, if you're not able to do that initially, it's okay. It's just that I think when I mean, if you meditate and you're able to get even just for a minute of quiet state,
Yeah.
that just relaxes you.
Relaxes you
And
into that.
yes, and it also helps you to identify negative thoughts more quickly, I have found. I don't
Yeah.
know if
The
you
only
ever.
day, the only thing I see, like sometimes when people get in, use meditation a lot, is sometimes like if they're just tied into the meditation, you
What do you
know,
mean? Did they make it a personality out of it? You mean?
yeah, almost like an identity,
I agree.
identified with being
I
a
had a
meditator.
meditation teacher that was
Yeah.
that way, and it was like, whoa! I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
This, I was like, I do think it's like people go, oh, well, I'm a Christian, or I'm
Yeah.
a Buddhist, or I'm a meditator. I think that's again
You go to an
identifying,
identity. Yeah.
yeah, identifying that as who you are,
Yeah.
something you do, and it makes you above others. But
Yeah.
we could
What,
use
yeah.
anything,
What
right?
this is has no identity.
Exactly. Well, I think a lot of people with the ego, the part of us that it's identified with the character doesn't like that, right?
No, it doesn't. Because now you're eliminating it. It's getting scary.
Yeah, and we're all equal. You mean we're all on the level playing field? What are you talking about? We all
Yeah.
can be,
Oh, and
spiritual.
here's one like, okay, you create your own reality. Then people are like, well, you create your own reality. That means I'm responsible for all the things that are happening here. Like, then there's that. People don't want to take responsibility.
And
I don't for that.
it's really funny, you're right. And that's another thing is but how could it be otherwise? Because if you don't create your own reality, then you have no creative control.
Right.
So it has to be that way. But again, if you go to the infinite being part, you
Mhm.
go into the meditation through meditation or just remembering, then it becomes a non-issue because you know you're bigger than that and you're not afraid of death, you're not afraid of anything when you're in that space.
Yeah,
But
because it's
yeah,
impersonal being, so it can't die. It's
yeah,
always
we're
here.
all one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah. So tell me about your channel.
My channel, Effortless Being. So the way that that started, I was listening to The Greatest Secret with David Bingham was one of the featured teachers on there, and he said, "You're the infinite being having a human experience." It was then that I felt that shift. So then I had contacted him and let him know, "Hey, I realized, what you said here about the infinite being. You're the infinite being. I'm the infinite being." And then he's like, oh, "Okay." So then we talked, and he was like, "You're really clear on this. You know what this is." Um, so then I started, he was like, "When are you going to start expressing this?" I'm like, "Okay, well, I'll start a YouTube channel." So I started a YouTube channel and I called it Effortless Being because I felt like it was effortless, just to be. And that's where the premise was. So I'd start off in just making little videos, walking on the beach, making videos about what this is. And then I sent it to David, and he was really popular with the Greatest Secret. So he sent it around to a few people, and they really liked it. And so then he's like, keep making videos. So I kept making them, and then people were contacting me through that whole channel. And then my channel started to grow. Then I started interviewing people about awakening or effortless being or self-realization, whatever you want to call that, whatever this is. And that's how it started. So I started growing from there. And then people started contacting me to write books. People started wanting mentorships, coaching calls, mirror calls, which I do now, mirror calls where I
Super
mirror
exciting.
mirror people. And it's really the infinite being, realizing itself to itself. I have many videos on there. You can see people realizing the true nature and getting clarity from that. So it really took off from there.
Yeah. I never heard about mirroring until I went to your channel and I found that very fascinating. You want to explain mirroring a little bit?
Yeah, it's a lot different than what people are used to, because what people are used to right now is they'll go to therapy, and a lot of the therapists and spiritual teachers, they're viewing you as that you're broken, that you need to be
I've
fixed. Now,
had that
mirroring,
experience.
yeah,
Yes.
so mirroring isn't that way. Mirroring is, when I look at you, Tammy, I see you as the pristine infinite being, that you're whole and you're complete. I don't see you as broken. Even though when we're having a session, you may be telling me stories of limitation. I'm just holding you in that space and I'm looking at you as whole and
Mhm.
complete, as the pristine infinite being. No matter, because I see that you're just identified with, just as I was, as a separate person that's broken. So I'm just holding you in that space and just reflecting it back to you. And then I just kind of just gently guide you, to say, okay, to question what's going on, what you're believing. Like,
Mhm.
what is it that believes that you're broken? What is it? Where are these stories coming from? And then it's kind of like, then I just hold that space with you. And then it's almost like the consciousness reveals it to itself. And then that identity drops. And then you're right back here where the peace is, where it's been here the whole time. So something about being held in that space. It's a very, it is nothing. It's like the rarest thing in the world, is what people will tell me, being held in that space. And then that, seeing that limited identity just dissolve, and then
Super exciting.
resting is the peace. Yeah, it's beautiful.
And not only that, but I find it so simple, but when you think about it, when somebody sees the best in you, at some level vibrationally, you feel it, and that's what you're doing. Because when
Mhm.
you go to a therapist and they see you as broken, I had a therapist one time look at me, her face got all contorted, and she goes, "What happened to you was worse than what happened to somebody in a concentration camp." And I'm like, "Oh no, I'm broken." And I started to get this identity
Yeah.
that, oh my gosh, there's something really wrong with me. So when you're doing what you're doing, you're seeing people as whole and complete, which
Yes.
they're going to resonate with because it's deep within us. And that's our true knowing. It's our true nature. So
Yes,
that's
nothing I'm doing. You'll just remember it. It's just that you've been conditioned, that
pretty,
you're limited and you're broken. So when I'm holding you in that space, seeing you as whole and complete, as the pristine, infinite being, there's like a remembrance that comes through because it's within you. Your intuition knows it's nothing I'm doing. You're doing it. Your intuition's doing it, or consciousness, or whatever you want to call it, is doing it all. So there's
you
no
know,
credit here to be taken. It's all I'm doing is just seeing you that way. and then it's revealing itself to itself, and then it naturally, everything collapses and naturally unfolds, and you're back in peace.
I love the simplicity of that. And the
Yeah.
reason why it's so easy is because it's our true nature. It's who we are again,
Well,
effortless.
it's what you are right now. It's what
Yeah,
everyone is right now.
yeah,
It's just that
yeah.
there's this
That's
overlay of conditioning that's here that's telling you that you're not.
exactly. And I think, do you find that some people though, it takes them a little bit to get there because of the severe conditioning or the just depending on their background and how much conditioning they have? Or do you think it's just the
Yeah,
right
it does, but usually by the time they get to me, they've already
they're
loosened up.
there?
It just
They're
seems like
already
there's an
close.
infinite intelligence that brings them, like they'll resonate. Like I'll put out the transmissions on my YouTube channel. I think of them as more as like transmissions. It's really not talking directly to the person, it's talking to consciousness itself. It's like an infinite intelligence behind the scenes, that's orchestrating it and doing it. And then they'll just bring them to me when they're resonating with where I'm at. Like you couldn't hear this message, like, um, you know, infinite intelligence
You
wouldn't
just
bring
bounce
you to
off of
me
your,
at a different time. You probably know that too. I think we've said that before. You've said like if
yeah.
you came to me with this effortless being
20
at a
years
different
ago, I
time.
would have like, whatever, uh-huh,
Yeah.
uh-huh. And
Yeah.
I would have walked away, but the readiness will be there
Yeah.
when you, and then they'll be drawn to you.
Yeah.
Don't you love that law of attraction aspect
I
there?
know it's great.
That
It really
is
works.
so
Yeah.
amazing.
It's
Yeah.
so
And
true.
that you can just trust what comes to you. I remember when I met you on the cruise and I heard that you co-authored books. I was like, how does he just do that? I mean, and you meet me and you're like feeling it and you're going with it. And I thought, of course, law of attraction. He
Yeah. There it is.
trusts that, he's in a space and the right people will appear. And so when you're in the old way of the ego, oh, you got to show me your credentials. You got to
Yeah.
show me how, your readiness. But with this work, when you're trusting your own attraction and you're coming from the effortless being, it's pretty amazing. It's
Yeah,
very
it's different than
easy
what
and
people are
simple.
used to because a lot of
Yeah.
times we're trained with conditioning, like you have to go to school for this many years, you got to have this many degrees, and
Mm-hmm.
um, but what I found is there's something better here. When you're doing it from resonating, when you're doing it from beingness, it's more of a transmission. It's a deeper level. It's deeper. It's like an energy almost like that's orchestrating it and doing it. It's not so much in the heady knowledge stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's very limited. This is
You're right.
this is very expansive, and very feeling touchy, like a resonance kind of thing, like on a deep level, like on a heart level, like on a spirit level, like
Yeah.
a deep consciousness, a deep identity level. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about just like, you know,
The
on a
head.
head level, this is like a deep, deep
It's
spiritual level,
really
spirit
funny
level.
because in the academic world, when I was teaching college and everything, it was all about your credentials and your
Yeah.
position and your status. And then now I'm understanding, and I always thought people respecting me for who I be was way more important. I intuited
Yeah.
that way back then. I'm like, why do I have
You
to have
knew it. Yeah.
credentials?
Your
Yeah,
intuition was doing great for you.
exactly, exactly. And so here you are saying this right now, and it just makes total sense. So
Yeah.
it's a beautiful thing, a whole journey, isn't it?
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wouldn't change a thing.
Oh, I do want to ask you for effortless, the defining effortless, because a lot of people are like, well, I can just sit on my couch and just whatever will be and be, how am I going to create from there? So I thought maybe defining the word effortless, what you mean by that. And I know it's about remembering who you are and it's effortless from there, right? But
Basically, yeah, what it is, effortless being is just, it's not really like a state or a certain condition or anything like that. Basically, effortless being is what you already are. It's your true nature. So when you recognize what your true nature is, it's not that you don't take action. The difference is you take in more of like an inspired action. And when you're taking action, it feels easy, it feels light, it feels like the next logical step. It doesn't feel like hard or striving. And a lot of times, people, when they're taking action, they're coming from that hard work, that striving, and it feels very heavy,
mhm.
and it depletes a lot of their energy. This doesn't even feel like any energy. It's just like it's what's already here. It's like infinite intelligence is making it happen, and you're almost like feeling like you're co-creating with the universe in that flow. You're like in the flow of it. You're not like resisting it as before and trying to make the outcome the way that it is. So effortless being is more it's taking inspired action. It's being in alignment with what
Also
already is.
trusting, correct?
Yeah, you got to
Trusting,
be able to just
allowing.
trust that what's happening is in your best interest, that there's an infinite intelligence behind the scenes doing it all. There's that trust in that, and then co-creating with it, being in the flow with it. Whatever's arising is perfect just the way it is.
Yeah. So, how would you say Effortless Being channel and our channel here, my co-star, how do you think it differs with Effortless Conversations?
Well, I think effortless conversations and effortless being is more about like recognizing your true nature, what you truly are, on a consciousness level and identity level and seeing through that. Effortless conversations is, in talking with you, is just mainly speaking from inspiration, what's coming up. So it's almost like it's coming from effortless being because we're speaking, you know, just whatever's coming through intuitively. But
Mhm.
conscious creation is more, is coming from that effortless being. It's not like coming from the separate person, Rob or Tammy, although we are using a lot of examples from Rob and Tammy,
Yes,
and we're taking it from that effortless being perspective. So in other words, we're coming from wholeness rather than from brokenness, when we're speaking. So that's what I like about this. The effortless conversations is just we're drawing on our experiences from the character Rob and from the character Tammy. And so, but we're coming at it from the effortless being part, feeling whole and complete, and infusing it into the character's everyday experience
I
from that
love that.
perspective. Yeah.
That's what our book is about too. And I think what's so beautiful about that is when I was just effortless being. I couldn't function in the world. And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I know who I am, but why am I here? Okay, if I'm just going to be non-physical and just be, then
Yeah.
why did I come? And that's where the conscious creation comes in,
Yeah,
right?
the conscious creation comes in because, like, when you think about effortless being, it doesn't mean that you're just sitting there like, oh, all's blissed out. That's not what we're talking about. But it's combining it with the conscious creation. It's almost taking that effortless being, coming from the infinite being, and then infusing it into the character, into the everyday life, the aliveness, the juiciness, the embodiment of it. That's what
Yes,
we're talking about, into the relationships, into the work, the careers, the everyday, having fun,
I love it.
all that kind of stuff. So it's just basically infusing it. So it's not just that, because a lot of people get in that stage where they're just in the being stage. What we're talking about now is, okay, you've done that. You realize your true nature. You're in the, you know what you are. You're the infinite being, you're effortless being. Now take that and infuse it into the character, into the everyday life. Now it becomes really fun. Now it becomes conscious creation. Now you're creating the reality that you want. Now you're setting up your day that can be joyful, easy, fun for you, that's playful for you, that's customized for you and your character. Now
That's
you can
so beautiful.
consciously create it that way. You can do that now. And that's basically what effortless conversations is. It's taken that knowing of coming from wholeness and completeness and infusing it into the character, into the everyday life. And everyone's character is different. So the effortless conversations, that's what we're exploring, is how do we take this effortless being and infuse it, conscious creation, and setting up the day and aligning the day the way that we want it, the way that makes us feel alive, that makes us feel juicy, that makes us lights us up. That's what we're talking about.
That's what I love so much. That excites me because I remember when I was in the just state of being and enjoying, I was like, well, why did I come? Maybe I should just go to the non-physical.
Yeah.
And then when I realized, wow, I can create from there, that's like the whole enchilada, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
You're to have fun and enjoy because you're fearless when you're, know who you really are. You're coming from that effortless being state. You can just go have fun and enjoy. You're not attached to the outcome. You're enjoying the process of life. And
Yeah.
that's when it gets really, really fun because you're not vested in the ego where if I fail, everybody's going to think this or that. You're just
Yeah.
enjoying the now and it just gets better and better and better.
Yeah, that ego part's not there, so to speak, because you're not worried about the outcomes and you don't feel like you're the controller. You don't feel like you're the doer. You feel like you can relax. And what's nice to know too is because now you have that security or that safety of knowing that you are the effortless being. So even if you're getting wrapped up in the character in the world, there's always this knowingness in the background. And that's why the character relaxes and it becomes lighter and more playful because you always have that security. You could always go, you could turn off the dualistic world, so to speak, the character for a little bit. If you just want to rest, if the movie's getting really crazy and you need a break, just turn it off, take a nap, relax back. You always know that you have this as your safety, that there's nothing serious going on. And then when you're feeling good, you want to re-engage, whoop, you turn it back on, and now you're back in the movie, you're back in the show. So
It's
you can
really,
be selective. You're empowered to be how much you want energy you want to put into it.
But when you think about it, you can start enjoying all your emotions because you know that you're not identified with a character, that you're here to feel and to live. And it's just, even when you get sick, you can enjoy your illness because you know you're not going to die. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just enjoying all of it.
There is a freedom
And
in knowing that you can
yes.
welcome every single emotion, whether it's sadness, fear,
Mhm.
whatever's coming up, even the ones that the mind or the world will label as negative, they're all seen as the same. They're all seen as they're all welcome. There's not one that can be preferred over the other. They're all equally arising, and there's a message in all of them and what they are, and they could be delighted. It's like anger is appearing as infinite being right now. It's just appearing as that. So you see it as yourself, and that there's a message in it, and it's welcome.
Yeah, and with the emotional guidance system with Abraham, also, it's an indicator of how you're creating, if you're going towards what you want or not. So it's all valuable. And when
Yeah.
you start enjoying the contrast, it's kind of like watching a movie and seeing the drama in the movie. I
Yeah.
remember going to a movie once and I was like, oh my gosh, I get to create the character I want to be,
Yeah.
I get in anything. And I think that's why I like acting and dancing, because I could go and be the villain and have all that fun, but it's not real.
It's
So I
not
can
real, so you
enjoy
can
it
you can
all.
play it. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Imagine everybody right now. You realize that you are the infinite being, and that the character. This is like a movie playing, and you're a character, and you can change the character and program it however you want to program. You want to be the villain. You want to be the naughty boy. Whatever you want to be, the naughty girl, the villain.
It
The
is so
mischievous,
fun.
the mischievous. You can
Yes,
go out and play that because it's not hurting anybody. You're always remaining as the
exactly.
pristine infinite being. It's stainless. It's not affected by what's happening. So you can go now and play with it. Of course,
I know.
responsibly. You know what I mean?
And I think that I tried to get this fulfillment before through Halloween and acting and dance. But when you think about it, if you really aren't identified with your character, you can have fun in life and use, and play. Just have fun playing,
There's a
because
freedom
you
in
know who
that.
you
There
really
really
are.
is
There
a
is a
big
freedom.
freedom in knowing that.
And you know how exciting it is when you deliberately create from consciousness, from being whole? It is so exciting and fun because you know you did it on purpose.
Yeah.
When you
So you
start
could
getting
prove it to
that.
you could prove it to yourself. Like maybe
Mhm.
before you were thinking, oh, I got to work hard for money. I have to do something I hate. But maybe now that you realize this, you're like, oh, I can play the character I want. I can program the character to say money comes to me effortlessly. I can do what I love and get highly paid for it. You mean I can program the character that way? Yes, you can. And prove it to yourself. I proved it to myself. I programmed the character that way. And that's the reality that I'm living. So I know it can be done. That's why I can speak with conviction and confidence that you can program the character to be that way. Any way that you want the character to be, you can program it to be that way. And then you prove it to yourself in your everyday life.
See, I always intuited there was more. I knew we did not come down, come to earth to suffer. I knew
Yeah.
that we were creators. We came here to create and that we're empowered. And yeah, it's a little scary when you realize that you're the creator of your own reality, but you wouldn't want it any other way when you
No
realize
way.
you can get conscious control through, being who you really are.
Mhm.
It's to me, there's no greater joy. I
Yeah.
mean,
And what's
it's just
interesting is like it's like the infinite being or effortless being or whatever you want to call this has been doing this the whole time anyway. Even though we were dreaming and pretending that we were separate, it was all being taken care of. So there's no harm, no foul. Even in
exactly.
whatever we went through, there's no need to beat yourself up over it because you were just dreaming, so to speak. Almost like when we're dreaming at night and we're playing all those characters and doing all that, and you wake up, it's like, ah, okay, here I am walking around. It's as if it never even really did anything.
It
So
is,
now
yeah.
it's like you're awake in the dream, so you can play with it and have fun with it.
Yeah. And you think about that. I mean, there's just such a freedom and joy in all of that. It's who we really are. And it's so simple, it eludes most.
Yeah,
you don't have to do anything. It's who you are. And
yeah,
you're like, what? Wow. It's so plain and so simple that our minds want to get in there and
yeah. When
figure
you
it
get in and
out.
figure it out, there's nothing. Yeah, there's nothing to
Yeah.
figure out.
Yeah.
It's already done.
Yeah, that's the reason why I think this Effortless Conversations is so fun, because we get to play these characters, we get to explore all these
Explore. I love
things.
that. Yeah,
I know. And also with the coaching and the mirroring is also exciting to do with others too, because when you are on fire and you've seen this work, it's so joyous to see other people having that same adventure. And that's what's really cool. Besides being that small person, the ego that wants to be better than other people, to validate your existence and your worthiness, when you're coming from the effortless being and who you really are, you're just full of love and you want everybody to experience it as well. And
Yeah.
that's where the coaching and the mirroring comes in.
Yeah, the mirroring comes in because you could really express this. It's a space where you can express your true nature to someone. You can hold them in that space and they can wake up to what they truly are and experience this peace that surpasses all understanding. And so the mirroring is a beautiful space to be able to do that. So I encourage people to take advantage of it. If you look at my website, I even have examples of, there's one video on there where I have an example with someone who is a profound therapist who knows what this is. And they use a lot of this even in their therapy sessions. They're seeing them, as whole and complete. It's almost like they're mirroring, but you might walk into a counselor's thinking there are some counselors out there that are awakened that are doing the mirroring. You might not even know it, but they're holding you in that space.
Actually, it's super exciting that it's really starting to take hold like that,
Yeah.
because I didn't go through that, but knowing that it's out there now is super exciting. So the consciousness is raising.
Yeah, consciousness is definitely raising. I'd love to see it where even therapists are being trained that way, that,
I think they
from a
are more and
mirroring
more.
perspective. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I really see that happening. It's that shift starting to happen. We're just
Mhm.
on the beginning edge of it right now in doing these miracles, but you'll see it like 10, 20 years from now. It'll be like, oh, really? That's just the way it'll be just like the norm kind of thing.
I also love the fact that we all have different experiences and we resonate with different people. Some people are going
Yeah.
to resonate more with you or with me or
Yeah.
whoever. It's just beautiful how it all unfolds and our journeys, how they're all so unique. And
Wouldn't it be boring if we all had the same story,
oh my
and the
gosh,
same
wouldn't it?
person? It's nice that, like even through my spirit, you asked how my spiritual journey was. Like I resonated with those people, like that I described. Abraham, David Bingham, Rhonda Byrne, Muji, Eckhart Tolle. Like these were all people that resonated with me. Somebody else might have another journey. They might have resonated with all these other people. You ask them what, like, if you look at my channel, I interview people all over the world. There's all
Uh-huh.
thousands of videos on there, and you'll see they all resonated. They all had their own unique story. But what's beautiful about it is consciousness reveals itself through all these human expressions. And so any life experience we had are valuable because there's other people that are going to relate to you with your experience. And so they'll contact you or get in touch with you, or infinite intelligence will guide them to you. And then you'll be able to help them because you can relate to them because you came from that same story, you know? And so then you can
Yeah.
help them get back up here. It's like we're all helping each other get up. And there's somebody above me right now that have had an experience that I'm going through, and they're looking at me and they're mirroring to me and they're raised, that it's just beautiful how the whole thing, it's all together, and the way the whole harmony of what you went through and your experience and how that helped someone else and how you can resonate with it. It's beautiful how the whole thing's set up, I would say.
And I love how it's experiential. It's not about credentials.
Yeah.
It's just really, and I love the fact that we're not acting like gurus. We're not acting like we're above other people, that we're not trying to, it's no ego involvement. It's just being who you really are and sharing the joy.
Yeah.
It's
And the
that,
truth is we all have our intuition. So they don't need
yes.
nobody needs a guru. They need us or anyone else.
It's just
Everyone
fun.
has their inner being or their intuition, that's guiding them through their emotional system. So they don't really need us to do it. It's just that infinite intelligence would bring you to that. You'll resonate. You'll feel that deep. You can't help but act, is what I'm saying, is when you're resonating on that deep level, just like I did when I went to my mentors and my spiritual teachers or whatever you want to say. It was just like a natural. It's almost like I could not do it. So it's like you felt like that. Like it's just that's how strong it feels.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I think, because we're co-creators and we came to play together.
Yeah, not be by
I think that
ourselves
that's
and
just
get a
fun.
cave. Yeah, come
And
on out and play.
like you and I, we would be doing this even if nobody was watching. Thank goodness
Right. There's
they're
no
not
agenda.
watching. But it's so fun to talk about because we're just benefiting so much, from the experience of just conversing and
It's the
understanding stuff.
juiciness of life. It's like
Yes,
this
the
is fun.
juiciness.
It's
I
the
love the
juicy.
aliveness of it all,
Yes, it's the juicy feel that you know what I'm saying? That yeah. I
All
love
right.
that feeling of aliveness and juicy.
Oh, I love
You
it. I
taste
love
it.
it.
You can taste it.
Yeah, yeah, I know. And it's delicious.
Yes. I love when Abraham says delicious.
I know, just sometimes when Abraham, I mean, they are bold. They crack me up. nothing is off limits with them,
Yeah. It's very entertaining too.
Yeah, I love it. It's entertaining and they're bold and all people from all walks of life. There's no hierarchy with them, and it was refreshing because all the other spiritual stuff that I saw was always a hierarchical and
You
it
didn't
was
resonate with it. Yeah.
conditional. Yeah, I didn't. But it serves people
Yeah.
because
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's okay for
yeah,
them. Like,
yeah,
whatever. I know
exactly.
I just resonate
I
more with fun and juiciness and
yes,
lightness and,
yes, yeah.
like empowerment. Like, that's just how I
Remember,
resonate.
Joseph Campbell studied even mythology and all religions and found veins of truth in all of them. I think the
Yeah.
universe is just full of this for all of us. I mean, how beautiful is
Yeah.
that? We
And
get
I
to,
was even thinking that too, growing up with Christianity, that we were talking about it. Maybe that was just right for me at that time. I don't know. Like, maybe
yeah,
that served me at that particular time. I'm not downing it. There might be other people doing that right. That's fine. That's just serve it. Like, there's no right. It's like whatever you're resonating with at that time, and your infinite intelligence or your inner guidance system, will guide you to the next thing anyway. You'll resonate. I would just tell people, just go with what resonates. So I think it's so important you do that. Just like how you're feeling, you really resonate with it, and then you just kind of follow that nudge.
hmm yeah, yeah. So the premise of the show, what would we say is the premise of our show?
Hmm. Premise of it. I would just say speak whatever is coming up, effortlessly with ease, whatever's coming through. Not so much like Rob and Tammy, like getting in the way of it. It's just kind of just like letting it flow, like what feels natural, I would say. Whatever
Just
wants to arise.
basically be through alignment or infinite intelligence, inner being, effortless being, whatever you want
Mhm.
to call it, and just letting it arise from there and situations of creating in our own realities, the fun of it all, and just exploring it all. And just because it works for me doesn't necessarily mean it will work for others, but you never know. So we banter and we talk about what works and
Yeah.
for us and what doesn't, and people can play with it and they can also add to it if they want, right?
Yeah, I'm glad that you said that because when David Bingham said, "You're the infinite being, have a human experience," I got interviewed on Awareness Explorers, and they asked me that question. They go, the host of the show goes, "But Rob, I heard those words too. That didn't do anything for me." See what I'm saying? So you never know, like what
Exactly,
you never
exactly.
know. Like, so I share that story. Other people are like, "Well, that didn't do anything for me," but it did for me. It was profound for me and shifted my whole. But you just don't know. And even if you talk to David, he'd be like, "Well, I don't know who's going to resonate with. He's just expressing." From Effortless Being, he don't know like how it's going to affect, and we don't know like what we're saying here. Something resonates with somebody, and their whole life shifts, and then
Yes.
they wake up to what they are and they're feeling all this peace and joy and aliveness and juiciness, like, I'm not going to stop that.
Yes.
That was it's
You're
just
really into the
juiciness.
juicy
Yeah.
today. It's
Really
true
feeling it.
though,
Yeah.
whatever you're resonating with at the moment, it can happen anytime. So you just have fun exploring and you're right, because didn't work for me, but the Abraham stuff I really
See,
resonate with them, but
see that's something that you and I are aligned with, though.
yes,
Which is,
yes.
I feel like that's like our connection. Like, we did
Mhm.
resonate with Abraham for some reason. I really
Yes,
resonate with it. I don't
I
know
do
if it's
too.
entertaining or I don't know. It made me feel more empowered too. Like,
It's very
I'll
practical
never
too.
forget how empowered I feel when I listen to them. The conviction, how Abraham speaks with that conviction, and
Mhm.
about following the joy. You're saying when you make
Following
it
the
all about
joy.
joy, I don't know that anybody else could come with me with another message like being joyful and feeling juicy. Like, is there anything that can top that?
Well,
Like, I don't know. Like, I love the joy and the juiciness and the dancing and the freedom and the
oh yeah, and
aliveness and being on the crew.
yes,
It's just,
there are no rules. Yeah, no rules to
I don't
follow.
feel judged or
Yeah,
confined.
exactly.
I could just
Exactly.
okay, this is what I mean. Like, I could just express
And be
what I
yourself.
truly am
Yep.
without filters. And maybe that's
Exactly.
what effortless conversations. I'm just expressing without filters.
Yeah.
I'm just having this conversation with you. Like, I feel like with you, I could just be myself and just
Yeah.
express freely.
There's no judgment
Like, you're
because
not judging me right now. Oh,
exploring.
like he was a Christian, or he went into that woo woo stuff, or like whatever. Like, you're not like there's no,
Yeah.
or maybe you are. I don't know.
No, 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 no. Believe me, I could be judged for
I'm
the same.
teasing.
So
I'm
that would be
teasing.
ridiculous, right?
You just seem very easy to talk to and express.
I think when you've had a lot of life experiences and you know who you really are, Abraham also is saying the same thing
Yeah,
as effortless being. It's the same. They call it knowing who you really are in your inner being,
right.
and that resonates with me. But it was easy for me to get lost in the stress, strain, and struggle and try to make it happen from the character. And that really helped me from hearing your inner being work and understanding that terminology has kind of helped me to see it a little bit clearer, So I
Right.
think that having different vantage points are helpful too. And that's why us having these discussions can be helpful for people because you never know, but even if not, it's still fun to explore. And the joy factor, I've noticed that when I enjoy whatever I'm doing, whether I'm parenting or I'm riding my motorcycle or dancing, when I make it about the enjoying and the joy,
Yeah.
I do way better than when I try to be perfect or I try to get it right.
Mhm.
And the title of our book is, Effortless Conversations, and it's consciously creating a joy-filled, easy life.
Yeah.
So the
Perfect.
joy is really there. And to me,
Instrumental.
you can't lose if you're, going for the joy. How can you lose?
It's what everybody wants. That's why they're striving for all these
Exactly.
things. They want to feel the joy. They want to feel like they can just be themselves. They want to feel expansive. They want to feel juicy. That's what they want. They want to feel that aliveness. That's what
Well,
everybody wants.
Abraham says that, why don't you just take the shortcut and go to it instead of doing all this to get the joy?
Yes, makes total sense.
It's so
There's
simple.
your
That's why
shortcut.
it eludes us. This
Like
is
this
so
is fun, just doing this.
I know it is. It's just
Yeah.
exciting. It's who we really are, is why.
But we want to express and be ourselves and, be able to express freely. That's what everybody wants.
Yeah. Just think about all the different episodes we're going to be able to enjoy. We're
Yay!
enjoying this one. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
So is there anything else you wanted to add before we go?
No, I just think that just, the main things for people to get away from this is the premise of what we're doing here is we're just speaking, from our hearts and we're expressing, effortlessly. There's no agenda here. There's no script or anything. We're just speaking freely. We're basing it on our characters' experiences, but it's all coming from effortless being, from that place of wholeness and completeness. And we're just speaking it out, the truth, and whatever resonates, resonates.
And it's all
That's
about the joy.
the
It's
joy,
all
yeah, the juiciness.
He's
Feel
going to end with
really,
juiciness.
really juicy. I love feeling juice.
Yes, that's life. That's why we're here.
Yep.
Well, till next time.
Yes, this feels complete.
Me too. Bye-bye.
Bye.